Well, whatever happens tomorrow, the FIFA brand has taken a hit. Jonathan Gabay is an international branding expert, and he joins us now with a look at the damage and what can be done to control it. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Pleasure.
First of all, let's just talk about the fact that Sepp Blatter is under a lot of flack at the moment. I mean, that is that's the focus, and that's what everybody is looking at, because tomorrow they're going to have that election, and at the moment his chances still look good.
Yes, it's very interesting, especially what he said in the last 45 minutes or so. He said that he's going to make sure that the trust comes back. And he keeps on talking about trust, you know, winning back trust and stuff like that. Well, actually, from the point of view of a brand, that would be one of the reasons that they would be sponsoring, in this case, FIFA in the first place.
Exactly.
So it's rather odd.
It's brand, trust, reputation equals sponsorship.
Absolutely. And together it all goes into authenticity. Yeah. And so, but the thing is that if you have a situation such as this one, where it looks like authenticity is in question, I mean, to say the least, then you have a problem. You know, I've been, as you can imagine, today's been pretty busy with this story, and I've been speaking to people about the fact that in the past I've dealt with stories such as with Tiger Woods and lots of other sports celebrities and people like that. This is so different than any of those stories, because that's one man, and you know, a brand such as in Woods' case, Gillette. You know, you can kind of manage it, but when you're talking about an international football as a brand, you know, if you were an alien and you came to Earth, yes, you'd probably think that Coca-Cola was some sort of a god because it's everywhere. But the other thing you'd think is that everyone prays by playing football, because so it is actually that global, and so therefore it's very serious.
But you mentioned Tiger Woods, and you could talk about Lance Armstrong, and you could talk about one man doing one thing. But when you're talking about something that Alexandra Ragg, the governance expert that Loretta Lynch called in, she talked about a Byzantine empire that was impenetrable across 2 decades.
Beautiful
well, at the end of the day, you know, Sepp Blatter just a short while ago acknowledged the profound loss of trust, but it's on his watch.
Absolutely. Look, if this was any... Look, I've dealt with brands for over 30 years now. I've written 15 books on them. And the thing is, if this was in any other situation, the brand would have pulled out, or the brands in this case, would have pulled out, and that's it. And they would have demanded that the guy at the top, you know, is accountable. So this is very odd. And the longer this goes on, in fact, if he stays, if he remains, I think that brands such as, especially Visa, would be questioning things, to say the least.
Right. Now, we've got Sepp Blatter speaking earlier. Let's hear what he had to say.
We, or I, cannot monitor everyone all of the time. If people want to do wrong, they will also try to hide it. But it must fall to me to bear the responsibility for the reputation and well-being of our organization, and to find a way forward to fix things. I will not allow the actions of a few to destroy the hard work and integrity of the vast majority of those who work so hard for football.
You know, we hear so many words, we just don't hear that one word, sorry.
Oh, so absolutely bang on. That's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the sorry. Look, I've been involved with things like food scandals, so they've had to recall and that sort of idea. And in all cases, especially in food scandals cases, they will say, you know, the CEO has got to actually, you know, step up.
Yes, absolutely.
And so when he's saying, I don't know, you know, what everybody's doing, it's a bit of a stupid answer, actually, to be honest.
But what I'm curious to know is, why have the sponsors taken till now to toughen their talk? I mean, when they've had plenty of chances in the past. It's not the first time we've heard these scandals with FIFA.
Yes, but this is very different, Charles, because in this case, we've actually got arrests going on all over the place. And so this is a different sort of a thing. One's an allegation, one's an arrest. And of course it still is an allegation technically.
It's just too hard to ignore. This situation is too hard to ignore.
Absolutely. It is too hard to ignore. And, you know, in a very... marketers, brands, right, they're very risk-averse they do not like taking risks because the world isn't as it was, say, 20 years ago. I'm talking about commercially. And so, you know, anything where there is an involvement of risk, they're going to be saying, is this really worth it? On the other hand, one thing to take the other side, 'cause I like to take both sides. On the other hand, you're never going to get a televised global audience like you can get in football with anything else.
So is FIFA disintegrating, close to it, or not yet?
No, FIFA won't. It's a bit like saying, is that the end of football? Of course it's not. What could happen here? He could leave. Yes, and they start all over again, and they say, oh, fresh face. I've seen all this sort of thing done in various other organisations. And so it's definitely not the end. However, it may be the end of sponsorship with this particular, what did you say, Byzantium Empire.
So he is on the precipice, Mr. Blatter.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like it.
He's on the rack anyway.
Yep.
Jonathan Gabay, thank you so much for joining us here. That was very illuminating.
Pleasure.
Thank you.